Howdy Yags. This is the introduction to CVEN 424, Civil Engineering Professional Practice. I'm Dr. Pete England. This introductory video is for the summer semester, 10-week semester of 2017. All that we're going to cover here in the next few minutes has to do with the class, its contents, and how it works. Okay, well, this is our first time to teach this class online and during the summer. So I've reorganized it for online 10-week delivery. This is a busy class. CVEN 424 is a busy class, but it's probably not your most intellectually challenging class. In other words, everybody already knows how to read and write. A lot of the issues that we're going to be talking about aren't brand new, and they don't involve advanced concepts, for instance, like thermodynamics or organic chemistry. But it is kind of a busy class. There is a lot of writing. There's not so much reading, but there is a lot of writing, and you do need to meet with me every week and meet with your group. So it is kind of a busy class, but not, you know, the mentally hardest class that there is. For online classes, as most of you probably already know, the best advice is to stay in touch with your instructor. It's easy to fall behind, to get confused, and then do poorly. I promise to respond to email and messages just as quickly as I can. And we'll get, because this is the first time I'm teaching it online and during the summer, there will be some, you know, we're going to have to settle in. Do we want to use email? Do we want to text each other? Do we want to use Skype to stay in touch? And so there may be a period of sort of settling in to what media work best for us as a group. But just know that whenever you do send me an email, I do see that message and I do respond just as quickly as possible. Stay in touch with your group members. You're going to be working on projects with those group members throughout the course of the semester. You also want to, you know, here in the last year or year and a half or 2 years before you graduate, you want to go ahead and be forming those professional groups, those professional networking opportunities. You want to go ahead and get some advice, learn what you missed. This is a good class to find out who's taken the FE already, who's taking what jobs, what those jobs offer. Most of this class is based on ABET program accreditation, student learning outcomes. What ABET is the accreditation board for engineering and technology, and they're sort of like a third-party inspector. So for instance, if I were designing a bridge and you were the contractor building the bridge, and we were building it for the city, so we have a client, so now we have three parties involved, right? The designer, the contractor, and the client. Maybe we would hire another group to come in and do the inspection. Am I designing it the way it's supposed to be designed? Are you building it the way it's supposed to be built? And they would report to the client. Well, ABET sort of does that sort of accreditation. It's like a third-party inspection. Are we teaching what we claim to be teaching? Are we teaching who we claim to be teaching? Are we doing a good job of it? So most of my class is based on exclusively these ABET learning outcomes. We'll talk more about those in just a minute. So like this, we talk about how contemporary issues affect identifying, formulating, and solving civil engineering problems. We talk about the importance of communication skills to a successful civil engineering career. And I'll go ahead and tell you what is the importance of communication skills to a successful civil engineering career. Well, for the most part, nothing's more important. What we know for a fact is that you'll be offered a job or you'll get a job because you have a BS in civil from Texas A&M University. That's not a guarantee. That's just typically what happens. From that moment on, something like 90% of your career will be based on your communication skills. And that's not a hard number, that 90%, but that's in general what we learn from doing surveys and looking at how organizations are run, who gets promoted, who gets let go during the hard times. So communication skills are, you know, in addition to your technical skills, pretty much the important thing that you're going to have as a practicing civil engineer. We talk about the global economic, environmental, and societal impacts of civil engineering solutions. We talk about the importance of lifelong learning and licensure. So what do you do after you become a civil engineer? How do you continue being employed as a civil engineer? And we talk about the roles of leadership and management in a successful civil engineering career. This class also touches on what are the fundamental canons of engineering. If you don't know what these are, then you need to study up just a little bit. They come from both the ASCE, the American Society of Civil Engineers, and the NSPE, the National Society of Professional Engineers. These fundamental canons are the fundamental canon means the basic ethical principle upon which an organization is based. So, engineers shall hold paramount the safety, health, and welfare of the public. That phrase is going to show up on, at the very least, the midterm exam. An engineer shall issue public statements only in an objective and truthful manner. Right? That has exclusively to do with communications. If you issue a public statement, it has to be done objectively and truthfully. Engineers shall act in such a manner as to uphold and enhance the honor, integrity, and dignity of the engineering profession, and shall act with zero tolerance for bribery, fraud, and corruption. So we will talk a little bit about ethics and the law in this class, but notice that, such a manner as to uphold and enhance the honor, integrity, and dignity, that has largely to do with communication. How are you representing your firm? How are you representing yourself? How are you representing your client? Right? When I say representing, I mean talking and writing. Engineers shall continue their professional development throughout their careers. That has to do with lifelong learning, which we also cover in this class. It's a writing intensive course, as I think you already know. You have numerous opportunities to communicate like a practicing engineer. We'll have frequent low stakes in-group writing and presenting exercises. What I mean by low stakes is just, if you participate at all, you get credit. The reason that we do it that way is to slowly build skills and then use them on larger, more meaningful assignments. You'll have 3 formal graded writing assignments, 2 memos, and a proposal. The memos you will do as individuals. The proposal you will write in your group. 1 formal graded presentation assignment. Now, of course, you'll be doing a whole bunch of really short little presentations during your group meetings each week. And then weekly tasks. Those will usually be very, very brief writing assignments. Since this is the first time that we're teaching this class as a 10-week summer course, I'm not entirely sure how many of those tasks we're going to have. Probably about 1 a week. Course organization. We'll have pre-recorded videos, just like this one. By and large, they'll be short. I'll cover key topics. We'll sometimes have guest speakers from industry. They'll be recorded, so you won't have to watch them at any particular time during the week. But I'm going to try to keep those videos to 10 minutes or less, certainly no longer than 20 minutes. Largely because, as you already know, it's kind of boring to sit and stare at a computer and listen to someone else talk. So we'll try to cover the material just as rapidly as possible, and then you can go back and review if you need to. We'll have group meetings each week. You've already signed up on Google Docs. In those, again, very brief meetings, we'll have discussions, brainstorming sessions, informal Q&A. Have any questions that you need answered, address them to me. We'll have some brief writing and presentation exercises. We'll engage in coaching and peer group review. Coaching is when you have a paper to write, and we all come to class, and you have a rough draft. Your group will have a rough draft. We'll go to our group meetings, and I will help you. I'll answer questions, and I'll do my best to look over some of your papers ahead of time and give you feedback. The reason that we do it that way is twofold. Number one, coaching is one of the most effective ways to improve writing. In other words, individualized coaching. And number two, that's the way you'll probably be doing it in the office. Your manager or your team leader will give you an assignment. You'll go do it. You'll hand it in. She'll look it over and she'll say, okay, this is a good start, but you missed, the second thing that I told you, or, it's really too wordy. Just stick with this, this, and this. And so, because that's the way that you do it in industry, that's the way that we're going to do it in this class. Your textbook is by Stuart Wallish, Engineering Your Future, The Professional Practice of Engineering, 3rd edition, Wiley 2012, and it's available online through the Texas A&M Library. You do not have to purchase it, and you're welcome. Your semester grading, the midterm and the final are 12% each. The writing assignments equal a total of 50%. Memos 1 and 2 are 15 and 20% respectively. Your proposal, your team assignment is 15%. Your oral presentation, which is also called a pitch, we'll talk about that later, is 10%. Tasks 8%, class participation 8%. Makes for a total of 100, not surprisingly. The 2 tests address topics required by ABET. We just talked about those and covered in readings and discovered in that says recitation sections, covered in your group sessions, your group meetings. There will not be anything on the tests that we have not covered. There should not be any surprises on the test. I really do not like trick questions. I don't like surprise tests. I like to test people over what they know they're going to be tested over. I think that's one of the most effective ways to measure learning. So if we're coming up on a midterm or a final and you have a question about whether something's going to be on the test, ask me. Group meetings and tasks are both 8%. Group meetings are for communicating effectively in meetings and team sessions. You'll be graded on your participation in group exercises. We'll also have some class brainstorming sessions. Because this is a 10-week summer class, there won't be as many of those as we do in the fall and the spring. Tasks will usually be short written answers to questions posted about the readings. Available on eCampus, we'll have the videos that I've spoken of, like the ones that I make and the ones that our guest speakers make. We'll have some non-textbook readings. I already have a bunch of articles and such posted online. We'll have office hours. I just realized, well, this is online, so I won't really have office hours. I will say this: any email sent after 9 o'clock is likely not to be answered the next day. And the only reason I say that is because I'm more of a morning person than an evening person. So if you send me an email after 9 o'clock, I likely won't respond until the next day. The schedule on eCampus is the most current. So if I have to update anything on the syllabus, I've already published the syllabus, so nothing about the policies or procedures, none of that will ever change. But if the schedule needs to change, then whatever's on eCampus supersedes any other version. So if you've printed up the schedule, then it changes. The eCampus version is the one that you need to stick with. About me, my name is Peter Shands England. I am a member of the Fightin' Texas Aggie class of 1993. I also have a master's degree from North Texas. My PhD is from Texas Tech. It's not in English. My PhD is actually in technical communication and rhetoric. My field of study is actually civil engineering workforce communication. So as much as I enjoy English subjects like novels and poetry and whatnot, we're not going to cover any of that in this class because this is about civil engineering communication. I've got over 20 years teaching, consulting, and working with writers. I have industry experience writing, editing, doing graphic design, and web design, although I haven't done web design in ages. It's a whole new ballgame now. This will be my 8th year in the Zachary Department of Civil Engineering. I am married, coming up on my 25th wedding anniversary this year. We have 2 kids. We have dogs. We like camping, and I personally like to go hunting when I can. I'm hoping for some hunting time this summer, but I don't know if I'll get it because I don't know if you heard, I'm teaching an online 10-week summer course. Jessica Scarfudo will also be joining us. She will be doing a lot of the grading for the class. She has a master's degree in science and technology journalism. She's also an Aggie. This will be her 3rd year, coming up on her 4th year with the Zachary Department of Civil Engineering. She likes soccer, camping, and triathlons. For the most part, you'll be communicating with me, sometimes with Miss Scarfudo. All right. If you have any questions or comments, I think you all already have my email, but just in case you don't, it's peter.england@tamu.edu. And Jessica's email is jessica.scarfudo@gmail.com. Please do feel free to call us by our first names. We're pretty informal in this class, just like you would be in the office place. In the office place, you're probably not going to address anybody as doctor or professor. So even though my working title is doctor or professor, please do call me Pete. That's just fine. All right, so that's a brief introduction to class and how it's going to work. I look forward to working with y'all. I think this is going to be a great summer. Let me know if you have any questions.